High School DXD holds a very special place in my heart. And I know what you're thinking. How could this anime hold a special place in your heart? It's trash. I know it's trash. Believe me. When I initially started watching it, I fell off during the second season because I realized this anime very much has a formula. A formula of 12 episodes where in the first 6 episodes they set up a minor villain slash mid boss, and then by the 12th episode there is just an all-out crazy battle that really doesn't make any sense, and this show really suffers from just powers appearing out of nowhere, and it really suffers from having fan service to having action as well. The mix doesn't blend very well together. But the reason why this holds a very big and special place in my heart, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but whatever, is because it was the first time I realized an anime can be uncensored, and it blew my mind. I always thought it was normal for animes to have, sunbeams or steam or just like conveniently placed objects or something. But then I watched High School DXD. Mind you, I was in high school when I watched it. And it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, it can be uncensored. Like it And for that, it will always hold a special place in my heart. It was really the first anime that showed me fan service, showed me harems, inspired me to even write my own fan fiction slash story, which if you haven't checked it out, it's on the channel. And it's cringy, I know, but it really does play a major role into getting me into anime, because it was very much an anime I got into high school, and high school was around the time where I really started getting into anime. I watched a little bit of it here and there when I was a kid, but high school, I made some friends who were very much into anime, and they told me, hey, watch these shows. So I watched them. And I could say High School DxD is very much a mediocre to bad show. I can't really recommend it. I'd recommend it for starters or people who really like harem fan servicey shows. This really isn't anything top tier. This really isn't anything very good. It is very much perverted trash, and well, that's what the main protagonist is. See, part of the problem with this show is its protagonist, Issei Hyodo, I believe is the name. And he is just a generic pervert guy who's supposed to be a self-insert. Granted, this is a light novel. I think there's a manga, but it's mostly a light novel. And we all know what light novels are like. But if you're unaware, basically Issei has this super ultra mega overpowered thing called a sacred gear, and he is one of two lucky people who has the most powerful versions of, well, not really most powerful, but one of the more powerful versions of these sacred gears. And he just conveniently has one. He becomes super overpowered for no real reason other than accepted his pervertedness, which really is a detriment to the show, because it's so hard to take it serious. Granted, who really takes anime serious? But it's so hard to take it serious when, in order to power up or become, mega dragon mode, he has to he has to poke his main love interest's nipples. And it's just like, oh my god, it's just so bad. I don't know how you write this stuff. And that's the other thing, is that, the girls, the harem is very much just like your generic harem. You have the older girl type, you have the loli type, you have the moe type. It's very much just like a harem. And of course, they all love the main character, because why else would they be there if they don't love the main character? And part of the running gag towards the later seasons is that they all want to have his child, because if I don't know if it's really ever explained, but apparently if you have his child, I guess you'll have a half dragon child. It's not really explained. I never noticed it. But I did end up catching up. There's 4 seasons. I dropped off at 2. Rewatched 1 and 2. I sort of, watched it in the background because I've already watched it. And there's a dub, so I can watch that in the background. And then I watched 3 and 4. And there's a really weird thing in season 3. Oh, by the way, spoilers, but you shouldn't really care. This isn't a show about spoilers. But in season 3, they introduce Norse mythology into this world of demons, angels, and fallen angels. And it's kind of weird seeing, like, Thor and Loki and Odin, like, hanging out with a bunch of, like, Japanese school children. That's another thing that kind of is a detriment to the show, is that they're all school kids. They all go to this one academy, and it kind of gets in the way of, because it's like they focus on the school at times, or it's like they always fight at the school, or they always have to go to school, and it's just like it would have been better if the school was never really mentioned, or perhaps left in the background, and they just had a convenient excuse like, oh, well, I guess they kind of do, where it's like the school is owned by demons, so their attendance doesn't really matter. But part of the problem is that they're also all in high school, and some of the backstories of these characters are ridiculous. Like, a high schooler would not be sane if they had this kind of backstory. So let me explain. There's this kid named Kiba, or Kiba, and he is very much just like pretty boy background character. He doesn't really grow other than the second season, where it's shown that he's part of this orphanage project from the church, where they like sacrifice a bunch of kids to acquire a holy sword, and he's the only survivor, and he's been carrying this guilt and revenge for years and years. But he's a high school kid. Literally the first season he doesn't show like really any trauma or anything, and then the second season he just suddenly decides like, oh, this is where I'm gonna bring up this backstory, and it's gonna be dark and dramatic, and look how edgy I am. It's really ridiculous. And then another one of the characters, Akeno, I think. I can't really say these names. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. But Akeno, it turns out to be a half demon, or half devil, half fallen angel, and she has this tragic backstory about how she resents her father, and how her mother and him grew up on a shrine together, and it's just like, she's a high schooler. What is, like, how is she still sane? Like, it just, and then, so like, she has both powers of a fallen angel and a devil, so she's pretty powerful. Going back to Kiba, he can use holy and demonic weapons, so he's pretty powerful. Everyone in this group, there's another one named Koneko. She's the little loli, and she is one of two of the like cat spirits. I don't really know Japanese folklore, so forgive me, but there's these like cat spirits, and she's the white cat, and she's also super overpowered, so she has hidden powers. And it's just like everyone gets a really major boost. But the person that gets the craziest boost, funnily enough, because he has the boosted gear, is our main character, Issei, who gets like this red dragon emperor armor that can like grow. He's basically like a bionicle. He's like a bionicle where you just add parts to him, and he just like gets cannons. He gets like big and tanky. He can get slim and grow wings. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. And it gets pretty out of control at times. It's just like, dude, you're getting powers out of nowhere. Like, you're getting powers for the sake of the plot progressing. And it's just like, it really bothered me, because it would be like, fan servicey, high school life, comedy, blah, blah, blah. And then it would be like super serious, supernatural battles that are super serious. It's like, come on, dude. No one's taking this serious. They even do the thing that I hate. I hate when anything does this, any movies, any TV shows, any anime, any video game, where they kill off, and those are quotation marks for you, they kill off the main character. So there's a part in season 3 where Issei gets really, really heavily damaged from Fenrir, the giant wolf in Norse mythology. And it's played up like, oh my god, he totally died, he's totally dead. And it's just like, come on, you're wasting so much time. There's no way they're gonna kill him off. I think I read in the manga that he does end up dying, but he gets like a new body, and he's much stronger or whatever. I mean, what does it matter? No main character dies. I mean, look at Goku. Goku has died how many times? And it's just like, it never really hits me anymore. The MC dying means nothing. If the main character dies, then he'll come back in a few episodes. Main characters never die. Otherwise, why do we have a story? But I could say, going back to the anime itself, that this anime very much follows a 12-episode season, and it's always divided into 6 episodes. The first 6 episodes set up a new arc, they set up a plot, and they end by episode 6 in a big fight, and our main characters move on to the next arc, which is episodes 6 through 12. And you will notice this every time you watch one of the seasons. It's very much just like first 6 episodes are a more contained arc that have a conclusion. Then the last 6 episodes are a contained arc that has an epic conclusion. It always just ends with Issei boosting his boosted gear like crazy. It's very much a power fantasy if you're into that. I'm not really into it, but again, this anime, it really influenced me when I was in high school, and it really holds a very special place. I based an entire original story that I wrote based off of this. Like, this is really the basis of it, because it was my first ever experience with harems. It was my first ever experience with like fan servicey show, and as a high schooler, you're looking for anything really. And I don't really regret watching this. It's not anything to regret, I guess. It's not a waste of time, but it very much is not good. It shouldn't be on your priority to watch, is what I'll say. But yeah, this is me just rambling about High School DXD. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Check the links down below and subscribe for future rambles.